Hello and welcome to the Moth Folk Studio podcast. I'm Suni and I'm here to share with you about all the crafty, creative, artsy things that I've been up to this week. So this week is going to be a lot shorter than normal episodes, and to be honest, I have just had a really rough week, especially at markets, and when I've turned to knitting, it's not going quite as I had hoped, specifically for my Harriet sweater, which I'll show you in just a few minutes. So we are getting to the end of the farmers market season. It ends late October, so just about a month left to go, and to say that I am drained and burned out is an understatement. I went to 3 markets this past week and I cried at 3 markets this week. Now, I am definitely a tearful emotions person. Joy, crying, sadness, crying, anger, crying for sure. So, Thursday's market, I got teary just because I was probably PMSy and just one thing was like emotional and then tears. Saturday, I've been having trouble with a particular person who comes to the market who is a threatening male presence, and he stood in my booth and stared at me for about 10 minutes while I fully ignored him. So that felt good, and I cried. And then on Sunday, which was probably an accumulation of the other experiences of the week and PMSy, I had one man who refused to stop touching my tent in a way that it was hurting my tent, and I told him to back off several times. He did not hear it. He did not understand that no meant no. Which is one of my least favorite things ever. And I got really upset. I really got upset. I was ready to throw down. I didn't, but it was infuriating and I'm still not over it. So anyway, that has been my market week. I'm going to more markets this weekend, and I don't want to dwell on all of that too much because it's kind of a bummer, but I also think that it's relevant to what I do. Granted, I have a job that I love. I am extremely fortunate that I rarely have a bad day in my line of work being a self-employed artist. It actually brings me a lot of joy. Today, for example, is a really good one. I'm home, I'm getting everything prepped and ready for the farmers markets for this weekend, for a show that I'm in October, and knitting a little bit on the side. So it's good. I am happy. I am okay. But there are still bad days, and sometimes it's tough to process them, especially when you work alone and you're kind of isolated in these experiences. So thank you for listening to my little mini vent, and I will share with you about some art and knitting now. First up is that I have been working on my lunar calendar for 2026. This is something that I do each year. I do a new illustration, and I've been at it since 2021, so this is my 5th one. I'm feeling really good about it. Here's what it's looking like so far. Now, I still have to do the whole moon chart portion of this calendar, but the border part is really the creative part that takes a little while to decide on my design and then get to work on it. And then, in addition, sorry, we're back to complaining now. I have been having some serious wrist pain lately. So I have taped up with this, I think it's kinesiology. It's a strange word. Anyways, this tape, it's like a sports tape, and it comes in strips. This is a strip I've cut down. But it comes in strips, and you stick it on and you create some tension with the tape. And my understanding is that it helps pull your skin kind of under tension away from your muscles and away from your fascia so that you can get better blood flow. This is my 2nd time taping up like this, and I think it's helping. I can't really wear a brace while I'm drawing or knitting because it just limits mobility. But this is great because it creates a little bit of a sensation of awareness around my wrist to like be mindful of taking breaks and stretching and thinking about all these things, and then also it increases some blood flow. So if you're a knitter or an artist struggling with wrist pain, I do recommend trying tape. Granted, I am not a doctor. Please don't take my medical advice. Don't even necessarily do it how I've done it. This was just how it kind of made sense to me to do it, but there are probably tutorials and other ways to go about it. Like, woo! Okay, so yeah, so I've been having a lot of wrist pain, which is a bummer for knitting and drawing, which are the two things that like relieve a lot of stress for me after a stressful week. But nonetheless, I'm still working on my projects, and I'm excited for how the lunar calendar is coming out. I'm just taking lots of breaks. My goal is to have the lunar calendar ready for next week. So on my next podcast episode, I'll probably update about when it's done and how to order. Okay, that is pretty much it for art news. Exciting thing. I am ordering some more stickers based off of my Fibercraft print, which you can still get online. This is the Fibercraft print, but I'm ordering stickers of but many of the little details from that print. So I'm going to have those for sale on my website very soon, probably after Rhinebeck. Yeah, they're gonna go up for sale after Rhinebeck, but like be on the lookout for them. And then also I'm bringing the stickers to Rhinebeck. So if you see me at Rhinebeck, I'm gonna be there with my dad. Stop us, be like, I want a sticker, and I'll give you a sticker. So that'll be fun. Yeah. And I think that is all I want to talk about for art stuff today. There will be more next week. Let's just do finished objects and a reminder about my September Scarflette, which is coming out as a pattern mid-October. So I've knit a second one out of some scrap Cardiff cashmere that I had. And it is, oh my God, it's just like a whisper of softness and delight. So a reminder, this is a pattern that is in testing right now that I wrote, which is so exciting. And you know what, I'm gonna say that my silver lining, or like my rose of the past like week or two, in that I've just had like several thorns, is how much it warms my heart that people have signed up for the test knit and have voiced like excitement over the pattern. I wasn't ready to, or I just hadn't realized the impact it would have on me emotionally, and like the I'm struggling to find the words, but maybe you can tell I'm like, it's just really something that you might want to spend your time, your valuable, precious knitting time, yarn, patience, all of that on knitting something that I've created and put out into the world for you to knit. And it's really cool. I feel really proud of it, and I also feel really honored. So this little Scarflette pattern is going to come out in a couple of weeks once testing is all done. I have a suggested yarn, which is the Fiber Company Road to China Light or Cardiff cashmere. You can definitely knit this with one ball. This is size 1, but I still have plenty left over from the ball. Actually, I can show you. This is how much I have left, and I'm noticing that the colors today are very strange in this room, so I do apologize. I'll put it maybe over here. It's definitely more of this color than this color, but I still have a little bit of it left. I haven't weighed it, but if you're familiar with what a normal Cardiff cashmere ball looks like, these are the quantities that we're looking at. So I'm just really excited about this. Drop a comment if you want to knit this. It's really fun. It's really quick. I've already knit 2. I have a third planned, which I guess I'll mention my acquisitions now, which is that I picked up this ball of Cardiff cashmere in the colorway Zoe, or color 619. It's also called Fatigue, but it's a very deep teal, sprucey kind of a green. It's actually one of my favorite colors, but I'm going to be knitting this for somebody for Christmas. And I have this one, which is also going to be a gift. And at this point, I'm thinking everybody might be getting a little September scarflet for Christmas. My next little knitting update is regarding my wedding dress project, which I don't really have anything to show you this week, but my mom did come over yesterday and she took all of my measurements, which is very helpful to have somebody else do it. And like, we just went like every 2 inches down my body. We just like got the measurements, and I'm really feeling optimistic about it. And in addition, she has shared with me that she really wanted to be a part of the knitting process. So I have allotted some portions of the dress that she's actually going to help me knit, and I think that that's just going to be really cool to have her be a part of it. If I'm being completely honest, I'm not the best at group projects, and I am being very vulnerable in letting her help me with this. She's a good knitter. She's not going to do anything wrong. I won't be like, I'm not vulnerable for her help necessarily, but I'm vulnerable in sharing a project like this, and I think it's going to be really good for me, for her, for us, for the dress, for the experience, and I'm really looking forward to that. Plus, having a little bit of help to get through the project will go a long way. As soon as I'm done with my Harriet sweater, which I'm like desperately trying to get done in time for Vermont Sheep and Wool, I will be updating you with more wedding dress progress, because I will be along my way with that a little bit more. So more to come on that. Nothing to show you this week, but I assure you there will be more. So I'm going to say I'm pretty bummed out at the moment about this, and it's completely my fault. I'm knitting off gauge, I'm running out of yarn, I'm doing my best with it, but it's just turning out differently than I wanted it to. And on top of that, I'm trying to have it done for Vermont Sheep and Wool, which is a week away, pretty much. A week away if I want to have it blocked before I go. I need to be done knitting. And I'm doing okay. I've gotten through the body color work, and I'm almost done with one of the sleeves. It's just not fitting right, and I'm really unhappy with how I picked up my sleeve stitches, basically, is the gist of it. So here we are. Here is all of the body color work, which I am really happy with as far as somebody who's not very comfortable with or doesn't really like color work. I'm very pleased with this. It's a little bit puckery, but I bet that's going to come out with some good blocking. So I knit down through the body, through the color work. I omitted the very last chunk of the color work pattern which was sort of like a smaller version of this area. And I just stopped here because I was worried that I was going to run out of yarn, and I'm glad that I did, because I would have. Reminder, I only have one skein of the lightest white color here. So I used as much of it as I needed to get through the body, and then I took the remaining amount and split it in half, and then allotted 1/2 to each arm, one sleeve, to just knit down as far as I could in the pattern. And I made it pretty far, so I made it through this motif, and then I just ran out of it to be able to do more than a little 1x1 stitch here. But as far as matching goes, I'm showing this so poorly, I'm so sorry. That's not better. So both the sleeve and the body have this like square. What is up with my lighting today? I don't like it, I'm so sorry. But anyways, I have these squares, and then the 1x1, and then this one's actually the like correct zigzag pattern, but I don't care. That's fine. That's not the thing that's bothering me. The thing that's bothering me is, you can see it so easily, is that when I picked up my sleeve stitches, This is my first time doing this type of construction and picking up sleeve stitches like this. But look at that ruffle. I'm actually going to put this on for you to see because it doesn't look good. Okay, so here is my Harriet sweater thus far. I have one sleeve to go, the neckline and the hem still has to get done. But I'm almost done with this sleeve. I think I'm just going to add another inch of ribbing and then bind off with a tubular bind off and hope that I gain about an inch of length through blocking, which I'm pretty sure I will. And then I'll do the other sleeve and then probably like a split hem situation. That is not what the pattern calls for. Also, the pattern does not call for a 2x2 rib here, but I thought that it would be nicely suited. I do think that I will continue down about like this distance down here to copy and give it some like callback energy, just in plain stockinette in the round. And then I do think that a split hem would be really cute for this, just to give it something that's like a little bit more stylish and maybe fashionable instead of just a very bulky, oversized sweater. So I was saying I was pretty bummed out about this, and honestly, now that it's on me and I'm looking at it and I'm talking about it, this has such a sweatshirt feel to it that even the things that I'm like bothered by about it, you know, for example, like I have a pretty bunchy pickup for stitches here that I wish was smoother. I think that once this is all done and blocked out, and for how comfortable this yarn is, this is going to be a sweater that I can just toss on and feel like I'm putting on a hoodie and go about my life. So I'm going to reserve being disappointed until it's done and blocked, but I do have quite a bit more to go. I would say my goal today is to get through the rest of this sleeve and cuff and then at least get this one started. It would be amazing to get through the flower and then work through the rest tomorrow. Neckline, hem. I have this much yarn left, which is almost a full skein to get through the neckline and sleeves and everything. And then I still have one more skein of this color. So I believe I'm going to be able to get through all of the rest of the plain stockinette for the neck and the hem and the cuff that I want to on this side. So here it is a little bit closer for you to see. I really am hoping that this bunching relaxes a little bit through blocking. But if it doesn't, I think it's gonna be okay, and I'll just use this as a very like cozy sweatshirt vibe sweater as opposed to something that's gonna be like fitted more nicely. I guess I was hoping that we would have a little bit less ease in all areas, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm just gonna get it done and then we'll go from there. I mean, I was actually telling my partner last night, I was like, I might rip it out and start again. If I finish this sweater and I'm not happy with it, I think that there's a good chance I will try to salvage all the yarn and re-knit something, which is maybe dramatic, maybe not. One huge win for this sweater though is that it is extremely comfortable on my skin. This is the Savage Heart Farms Junction Fiber Mill Coriadale from this year, and so I'm wearing a tank top underneath. Like, I am not feeling covered and protected from the wool, but I am not itchy at all. This is so comfortable, which makes me feel like this is gonna be a sweatshirt hoodie for me. To be honest, I don't wear a ton of knitwear like on a day-to-day basis, just because I'm such a like t-shirt hoodie girl. But I want to create more pieces that I will wear in that like cozy around home kind of way, and this one could absolutely suit that. So I will update in my next episode, which is actually after Vermont Sheep and Wool, if I got it done in time. And I'm also trying to remember that if I don't get it done for Vermont Sheep and Wool in a week, I still have Rhinebeck the next week, so it's not like I'm gonna run out of time to wear this for something special. It'll get done very soon, if not on time. Like I said, this episode is going to be quite a bit shorter than normal, and I just wanted to make sure that I put one out and updated everybody, and I hope that you don't mind that I'm not rambling quite as long as I normally do. I will have another episode next week. That is all that I have for today. That's all I've got. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for listening to my little rant at the beginning and hearing that out, looking at my knits, my processing over my Harriet sweater, plans for the upcoming weeks. I really appreciate you being here. I'd love to hear what you're working on. Feel free to like or subscribe or drop a comment. You can find me online at mothfolkstudio.com, or, Moth Folk Studio as social handles. I'm really excited to be here. I think even though it's been a rough week, I'm really happy that I carved out some time to record and share what I'm working on and take a moment to be, honestly proud of some things that I've done, from the September Scarflette to realizing that even though I'm a little bit bummed out about the fit of the Harriet sweater, I think it's going to be really comfy and I'm okay with it. So thank you. So truly, really thank you for being here. It means a lot that you show up and listen to me process everything, and then also I love that I get to share what I'm working on, what I'm creating, and it helps me keep track of time, keep track of my projects, things that I'm passionate about, things that are kind of less exciting, like my Heirloom gilt cardigan, which we're not even talking about today. It's all good. So thank you ever so much, and I will see you on the next episode.